this evening, and we're going to be hearing from them a little later. So as always, let us welcome each other, welcome Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem, and then we will light candles. So again, Shabbat Shalom to those who've joined us while we've been singing Shalom Aleichem. Our minhag is to sing Shalom Aleichem before we light candles, to give us a moment to pause, to take breath, and to know what you want to intend for yourself for Shabbat. So I invite those who are choosing to light candles, and I'm seeing the Mogilev community, many of them with each other, but I think someone else has come in. Very much looking forward to welcoming you all. But first, get your candles, get your matches, get ready to bring in what feels right for you for Shabbat. So we are on page 75 in our Siddur at the moment, and then we're going to go straight over to page 78 for Yedid Nefesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat has descended to enfold us almost in a mantle of peace. It brings to us the precious gift of time to embrace family if we're near, or friends, but really to reflect more deeply on the meaning and purpose of our lives and to worship in the beauty of holiness. May our Sabbaths be sanctuaries of love, devotion, bringing contentment to our hearts, happiness to our homes, and blessing to our people. So as we continue to mark Shabbat, let's turn to Lachadodi. I'm going to invite us to turn to page 91. For those of us in the sanctuary, if we fancy literally feeling that sense of standing for the last verse to welcome Shabbat, we are welcome to do that. And even for those of you at home, however your week has been, maybe you've been very ready for this night, this week, and for Shabbat to come. So let's go to the Baruch Hu, public call to prayer as we get ready to offer the Shema, the evening blessings before it. Those of us here in the synagogue, let's stand together and feel the enormity of doing that and really relying on those at home as well, because there are only two of you tonight, so we're relying on you to make the congregation for us. Let's sit down again, and instead of the prayer inside the prayer book on page 93, I'm going to offer Rabbi Mark Solomon's words about light and darkness in our lives. And I know this is Alison's favourite, Alison Reese's favourite. You form light and create darkness. As time is a tapestry of day and night, our lives are a weaving of light and dark. Like a slow dawn, we discover who we are. Like twilight, we linger in doubt and anxiety. We endure nights of rejection by others and ourselves, and bright days of acceptance and joy in who we are. You make peace and create everything. We look around and see a world of endless change and diversity. As we rejoice in the variety of creation, we come to accept our own uniqueness. As we delight in our own uniqueness, we appreciate all human diversity and live at peace with ourselves and with all creation.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed.
Join me from home or here in our synagogue sanctuary. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavecha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol mo'odecha. V'hayu hadavarim ha'ele, asher anochi matzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'leftecha v'derech, uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha. Ukashatam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beinenecha, ukatavtam al muzot beitecha, uvisharecha.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
When we witnessed your power, we think back to standing as a people on the shore of the Sea of Reeds, but really we think to the idea of appreciating miracles in our lives. We praised your name, gave thanks willingly, we accepted your rule, and full of joy we sang together. כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, גאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Evening prayer for peace in our home, for being sheltered from sickness and war, famine and distress. Let us say together, we praise you, O God, may your sheltering peace descend on us and all who dwell on earth. So before we go into the Amidah, we're on page 97, our special Shabbat Amidah. This week in our Delving into Judaism class, our students gave presentations, and Scott here tonight, I'm not going to embarrass you, but you gave a beautiful presentation on Shabbat and how Shabbat is meaningful for us as progressive Jews. And I want to offer you some questions to reflect on as you go through the Amidah, particularly when we stop at Vashamru and you think about how Shabbat is in your life. Was there a time, particularly around Shabbat, when you felt a glimpse of a peaceful way of living? How do you want to mark Shabbat in your life? What keeps you from experiencing Shabbat as you'd like it to be if at all? And lastly, how might you today be so in this service so as to deepen this Shabbat for yourselves? So just think about any of those questions that catch you as we go into the tefillah. I'll ask you to stand if you'd like, if you're at home. For those of you here in the sanctuary, we're on page 97.
Adonai Safatai Tiftahu Fi Agitei Latecha Adonai Safatai Tiftahu Fi Agitei Latecha
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lama'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Machaye meti mata rav lohoshia. Mashiv haruach umorid hageshem. Mazriach hashemesh umorid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed. Machaye metim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim. Umatir asurim. Umakayem emunato lishnei afar. Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot. Umi dome lach. Melech meimit u'machaye u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'ema nata lahachayot meitim, Baruch ata Adonai, machaye hametim. Kadosh ata v'nora shamecha, ve'en lanu Eloah mibaladecha, Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. So let's sit down and go straight into Vashamru as we mark Shabbat.
Shabbat,
Praise you, O God, for the holiness, for the separateness, for the difference of Shabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael. I'm on page 100. Utefilatam b'ahavat kabel. Utehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai she'otacha levadacha b'yera na'avod. And as we offer modim, and we will offer tonight in English, as we offer the words of Modim Anachnu Lach, it's a paragraph, the penultimate blessing of the Amidah that calls us to be grateful and thankful. So our minchag is to offer in the chat anything you feel particularly grateful for this week and to share it with the community as you might if you were in the sanctuary and able to stand and chat over the Kiddush table. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, are our God, as you were the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shemcha, ulacha na'er lohodot. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. Let's take a moment for silent prayer, a chance to just reflect on this Shabbat, how this week has been, or our moment of calm and quiet, just us, before we close the Amidah. And then we hear from those in Mogilev and Minsk.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
It really is a delight to have Dean back. I am now so delighted to call on Rabbi Grisha Abramovich. Grisha and I studied together at Leo Beck College, and Grisha returned, and we get to be connected tonight. So I'm not sure who's going to speak first. Mila is the chair of the congregation, Grisha is here, and I believe we've got some young people. I'm looking at my computer screen because I can see you, but I believe there are some young people with you that might also be sharing something. So whoever's first, we will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself and speak, and we'll make sure that we can hear you in the sanctuary as well as everyone hearing you at home. So Grisha, welcome. Brucha Aba'ah, welcome to our synagogue.
Thank you so much for wonderful Rebecca. Teach me progressive people, Doros, and everyone who visits Christian Magilo. To show you a bit of me, leaders, spending time. There was wonderful service. Some members of their community, Simcha, Michael, and we will start from Irina Belchevsky from Belarus with some Greek words.
Dear friends, Shabbat Shalom. It is a pleasure and honor to take part in Kabbalat Shabbat together and to hear the heritage that we share, to sing together, and to enjoy every night together. Thank you very much for your friendship and for your support. And we know that your friendship is very valued in our community in Mogilev, and it really helps to sustain community and keep it going, and to bring youth to the community, to help families to feel more involved in Jewish life. And thank you for your help and friendship, and we wish you Shabbat Shalom and all the best, and to have a happy and healthy Shabbat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And next word we will give our chair, already announced. Mila is the tone, together with a group of youth from Mogilov. We hope you can hear us and you can see us. Мила Яковлевна, ваше слово. Несколько слов.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We're glad to see you. We're glad to say Shabbat Shalom from Mogilov. Our community, Keshet, is very central to you. Our heart friendly, the most friendly words to your helpness. תודה רבה, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we're going to have So I'm seeing all the young people saying Shabbat Shalom. What you don't know, all of us FPSers, is that they've already had one service. They've stayed for a second service, which I consider the height of devotion to Shabbat and to friendship. So truly welcome. And I guess we would just ask the question, how is everything for you? How is everything politically? How is it feeling for you? Maybe just one word from you, Grisha, as we wish you a peaceful Shabbat.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rabbi Rebecca. Thank you, our wonderful Mogilov community. We read Torah portion Pinchas, and we understand that despite the name of Torah portion Pinchas, we speak about next leader Joshua ben Nun. And Joshua ben Nun was chosen as a person among persons. And it's not a human among human, a person among persons. It's not a Superman to solve problem. It's not something super or to give us a right decision what to do. And this is what we face. We people, we live in certain time and we experience something that was reality or history some other countries. A reality of pre and post election situation. People talk different languages, but we also got different realities that we all part of Joshua ben Nun right now. And we have to follow, not just to follow Moses, not to follow our tradition, but we have to understand our task and goal. And our synagogue, both in Minsk and in Mogilov, is a place when people can talk one language, pray in Hebrew, Russian, and together with you in English. We also understand and feel your support, because a spiritual place for gathering is important. Whatever people speak outside of synagogue, whatever hatred we experience, whatever misunderstanding may happen outside of our homes, in our community, in our synagogue, we try to gather for Kabbalat Shabbat, being together, support each other, have enough strength. And saying that, I want to thank Fincher Progressive Synagogue for your support, for spiritual and financial support to our Mogilov community. We remember that, we thank you for that. And one extra point, your photos in Mogilov, just remember that you're not just in London, you're also in Mogilov. Thank you.
And thank you for reminding us that, that described, if anyone couldn't hear, that no matter what's happening outside the synagogue, no matter what political unrest, what misunderstanding, what sense of prejudice or discomfort is happening outside the synagogue, Grisha reminded us that the synagogue is where everyone in this congregation gather for an oasis of peace and to be together, to bring in Shabbat, to forget everything else and to feel safe and at peace with each other. So Grisha, that was a great way to fill us in and remind us how important synagogue life and Jewish life is for you there. We're so pleased that you're with us tonight. And actually, I am sorry that you are all, especially you young ones, having a second service of the evening. But actually, I think we've also shown ourselves this was not too difficult to arrange. So here's to more. So we're going to finish our service now, page 520 for Aleinu. Let's stand.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon ha'ol, לתת גאולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו ויחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. גור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים,
we go now as a congregation to Kaddish together. Just making sure that I have reach over for the Kaddish list for us tonight. So tonight we think particularly of Michael Dalton Bellas, brother of Charlotte Dalton Eldridge, who died last week in Canada. Zichrono Livracha. May his memory be for a blessing. We think also of the yahrzeits that fall this weekend. Emily Orm, mother-in-law of Corinne Oppenheimer, and Rudolf Oppenheimer, uncle of Corinne Oppenheimer. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing, and may we offer consolation and comfort to those who are mourning and grieving their loved ones, and let us say the words of the Kaddish with them. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shamei Rabbah, bi'ama divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'v'yom echon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, magalav isman kari v'emru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavorach le'olam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha brichu, Leila min kol berchata v'shurata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei adam, v'imru amen. So for our final blessing tonight, I'm very impressed, Louise has been able to wish Shabbat Shalom in Russian script. For our final blessing and song tonight, we always offer Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, so a blessing for each one of us. May God bless you and look after you. May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. And this feels so apt with your words, Grisha, of the synagogue being an oasis. So let it be so for us here as well. Feel free to sit down, those in the sanctuary, and you also at home. Shabbat Shalom. So let's go into Kiddush. The moment has come. We are in the month of July, and everyone here in the sanctuary has a tiny baby Kiddush plate underneath their chair. So they are able safely and corona-friendly to have their own Kiddush, and we will offer it. So those of you who are at home, I'm looking over to see what you've got. If you've got challah, if you've got red wine, if you've got Campari. Graham, what have you got tonight? Water? Is that? I can't hear you because you're muted, Graham. Is that Graham?
It's on the vodka.
Vodka. Is that vodka or water? Graham's going.
Yes, because I'm driving to my granddaughter's for Friday dinner.
Oh, so it is water.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Very good then that you're having water and not vodka. And it looks like Grisha's got Kiddush wine and not vodka, despite being in the land of vodka. So do join us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'pratzon hinkilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikraye kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'achata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. L'chaim. And Chalot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. So V'teyavon, Shabbat Shalom to those of you here, Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are at home, and a special Shabbat Shalom to those of you in Mogilev, Minsk, and thank you for all